Yo, 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 welcome back to the Out the Box Show. I'm John Wallace alongside my co-host James Luffy and LSU. Another series win, Luffy. Another series win under our belts.
Keep winning, yeah.
We beat the number one RPI team in the country this past weekend in the Kentucky Wildcats. Had a little bit of a rough game last night against the ULL Ragin' Cajuns. That is the University of Louisiana Lafayette Ragin' Cajuns. I'm wearing my red shirt today, my bright red to celebrate the ULL Ragin' Cajuns victory over LSU last night. CJ Willis kind of tore us up. It seemed like we were battling the lights in the night sky last night on a few pop flies.
CJ revenge game for him.
Yep, you gotta hate a revenge game. You gotta hate it. But props to them. They, we've won the last few. The series has been kind of back and forth between us and the Ragin' Cajuns over the past few years. But we'll get them next time. Nothing to be worried about. We're gonna look ahead to Ole Miss this weekend as LSU heads up to Oxford. You going, Luffy? You got friends?
I'm not. They also have Morgan Wallen there this weekend.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. My boss
is my mic. Does it sound funny to you or no?
No. You
okay.
Good?
Yeah.
I hear you.
I think it's just my sick voice. Still sick, by the way.
Yeah, you're playing hurt.
Playing hurt. 2 weeks in a row.
Wow. You, I think if there's anybody that has any kind of resolve out of me, you and Rory, it's you. You've played hurt the most, and you've performed just like Michael Jordan in the flu game.
Right.
But we have a packed show for you guys, and I have a very special announcement from Blaine Loop. He texted me today. He teased the announcement.
I don't even know this yet.
He teased the announcement last week, or I teased it for him. Well, he teased it to me, and then he told me he was going to send me a write-up. But Blaine Loop is leaving Keller Williams to join Louisiana's newest premier brokerage, Forte Realty.
Okay.
Forte Realty is a group of young realtors ready to take the state by storm to assist you with all of your real estate needs. With the new resources being made available to him at Forte, Blaine is even better equipped to get you the house of your dreams. This part's still the same. Blaine wants to be your friend, your neighbor, and your agent. That didn't change. You can still call or text him at 504-858-0031 for all your housing needs. That's his personal cell phone number. Forte Realty is an equal opportunity housing partner. Each office is independently owned and operated. I wanted to get away of the obligatory statement that I have to say on every episode to prevent legal issues, but I'm excited for Blaine. This is a huge move. I was talking to him. I was actually at a wedding with him. Shout out Madison Dillard and John Marie Hidalgo for getting married this past weekend. That's where I was. And I was talking to Blaine at the wedding, and he was like, you could just feel his excitement for this next step in his career. Like, he still loves the people over at Keller Williams. There was none of that. It was just like, this was a great opportunity for him. And he was beaming with excitement. So,
yeah, and I'm sure he's excited to listen to that veteran ad read, even though that he switched it up a little on you. You still got it.
Yes. Forte Realty. They're gonna. He told me that was his exact line. We are gonna take Louisiana by storm. So, I'm excited for Blaine. 504-858-0031 for all your housing needs. Also, want to shout out the Boot Crew Media Network. Great time of year. Lots of content. The NFL draft's next week. Make sure to check out Boot Crew Media.
Right? No, next Thursday.
Week. Yeah, next Thursday. Okay. We'll do a little miscellaneous segment on the draft next week. Luffy, I guess you were ready to talk about the draft tonight, right?
Yeah. Always dialed in on the draft. Yeah. I love the draft. For some reason, I thought someone said on radio. I thought it was next week, and then I was listening to radio this afternoon. I thought they said tomorrow night. But
I thought it was this week too.
Yeah.
But I
have sick brain, so
I was corrected at work today. I'm not sick. I'm just ill. I'm ill, not sick. BootCrewMedia.com.
John and I haven't drank on like three episodes in a row now.
We've been doing good.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like we deserve an award, or maybe next week we just
deserve
go
a
crazy.
drink. We deserve a drink.
Yeah.
For not drinking, we deserve a drink. No, yeah. Shout out to us. I haven't even thought about that.
Not even once.
Yeah, no. bootcrewmedia.com, and on social media at bootcrewmedia. All right. Thursday, Friday, Saturday series.
Yep.
Love it on Thursdays, hate it on Sundays. But I'm sure the players like it.
It's so true. Like on Sunday, I was like, damn, I wish I had
Thursday,
another game.
I was like, I was out of work. I went out of there on 2 wheels. I was like, I got to get home. I texted my dad at like 3:00. I said, hey, I keep my IPAs, beer. Well, I keep them outside of the fridge because I'm afraid he'll drink them.
So you got to throw them in the freezer.
Well, I texted him at 3 and I said, hey, pop those in the fridge, put one in the freezer. And it was ice cold for me ready when I got home. So that was quite exciting. It was a Ghost in the Machine double dry hop special edition from Parrish. They release it all the time, but hadn't had one in a while, so that was good. But to talk about the game, this game was awesome in the sense that we absolutely dominated on Thursday. 2 grand slams, final score of, I believe it was 18-8.
Yeah.
Or no, 16-6. They called it in the 8th inning.
Yeah. 10-run ruled them.
Yes.
And it was Alex Milazzo walk-off, I believe.
It was a walk-off. I think you might be right about that. But yeah, I was actually like taking notes during this game while I was sipping on my IPA.
Yeah.
Some of the highlights that I noticed, obviously, Jordan Thompson, grand slam, 8th hole, first inning. That's as clutch as it gets. I do want to note that Kentucky, their pitcher, it was his first start of the year. I think this kind of goes along with like, the mindset of some coaches going against Skeens being like, do we just concede game 1?
Yeah. It's kind of like not technically conceding, but it kind of is. It's like in tennis, if you were to flip your like number 1 and number 2 doubles to try to get a win and split them going even. Same thing. It was kind of a sacrifice. We needed to jump on them early and big, and we did. And the grand slams definitely helped. And Skeens struggled to some degree. He still had 12 strikeouts.
Right. No, he had 13.
13 strikeouts.
Yeah. Still threw 109 pitches, went 6 innings, 5 runs, 4 earned, 7 hits. Yeah. I mean, to his level, he's created a bar that's so high. It's like, how do you reach that every time?
I think he's given up 60 or 70% of his runs in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I don't know. I mean, like we said, the bar is very high for him. He's going to have a couple bad games. But when you go up, what was it in the first inning? 8-0.
Yeah.
It really kind of gives you a cushion. You can kind of relax on the mound. And he still went 6 innings, had 13 Ks. That's 13 Ks is like more than he normally has, about 11 or 12.
Yeah, and him getting through 6 innings is always a big thing for us with the lack of pitching depth we have right now.
Yeah. So another note on Jordan Thompson, that he has homered at that point. He had homered in 4 straight games.
Four in a row.
He did have an error at short in the 2nd inning, whatever. But yeah, this was a bat fest. Their pitcher, it was clear that, by that being his first start, that they wanted to focus on Friday and Saturday, which they ended up taking care of business on Friday, and we'll get to that. And even on Saturday, it was a very close game until the end. But just the resiliency, the resolve to jump on teams in the first inning, I swear it is so awesome. Every first inning, it's like if they had a Yurfie bet for the first inning, I would take it every time on LSU, because it seems like we always score in the first inning. I mean, you got Dugas, Cruz leading the way, and then Tanks just knocks him in. I mean, he's got like 60-something RBIs at this point in the season.
I think the odds on that, you probably get like minus 350 or something like that. Crazy.
Something stupid. Something I did forget to mention also is that they intentionally walked Cruz in the first inning. It's like, do you not know who's walking up to the plate next?
Yeah, it definitely did not work for them there. It did work for them in some spots.
That works later on in the game, not whenever he's your 2 or 3 hole hitter and you have the nation leading RBI guy coming up.
Yeah, that's a tough one there. I don't know if I would have walked him in that spot, but there definitely is a right time to watch Dylan Cruz. He's hitting 500. That's just how good he is. So, I don't think that was the right time, though. I agree.
Yes. couple other notes I had. Beloso took two balls to the. I think he took one to his lower leg and one kind of up high. He got hit twice. Team player.
Leave the elderly alone, please.
Yes, he is brittle. We cannot have him getting hurt. Joe Bear had the second grand slam of the game. That was awesome. I think probably the most concerning thing about this game was Dugas exiting the game with a right shoulder injury in the seventh. That was Thursday. I was very worried on Thursday. I do believe he's going to be able to play this weekend.
I think he took ground balls. Jay doesn't really like to say whether people will be playing or not. I guess he thinks he gives us some advantage. I do think that he wants to play for sure.
No, for sure.
I wouldn't mind if he rested, but it's an important weekend to go and win at least 2 games.
Yeah. Yeah, I swear, whenever he fell, he came down hard on his shoulder, and I was like, dude, please don't be like a torn rotator cuff or I mean, I think he separated his shoulder momentarily, came out, but the way he rolled on the ground when he got hurt, I was just like, that is not good. Because like he's one of the toughest guys on the team. Like he's gonna play, and he's already battled injuries and whatnot. I was actually wrong. We had 6 runs in the first, not 8. But we had 11 at the end of the second.
Yep.
So we only did it on the final score of the game in the 8th. They called it, by the way, LSU. I think you said that LSU's 11th walk-off of the year. The final score was 16-6. We scored 16 runs on 8 hits.
Yeah.
Now the grand slams, help out with that number and make it look a little better. But 16 runs on 8 hits. That's mighty efficient.
Yep. We had a good hitting weekend, even only having or not only, but having 8 hits in that first night. It's just so important in the college game not to walk guys, and I guess we'll get to that in game 2 and game 3.
Yep. So Friday night, LSU lost to Kentucky by a score of 10-13. Yeah, I mean, this was definitely a lot more of a lopsided game, not in our favor. The score looked a little bit better than I think how LSU fans felt that we played. Ty Floyd came in and threw 4 2/3, gave up 6 hits, 5 runs, 3 earned, 3 walks, and only 2 strikeouts.
And Ty struggled the last couple of weeks. This is a huge week for him. If Jay, and I think Jay does trust him, and he's going to keep running him out there to start in game 2, whether it be Friday or Saturday. Call myself there. He's going to have to go up to Oxford and give us another start. But I think that he is maybe leading the team in wins, which wins and losses don't always mean everything in the pitching stat. And he's won, I think he's won every game he's pitched. We've won every game he's pitched in, or most every game he's pitched in. So I think that they're going to keep running him out there, and he's a guy who can go out there and give you 6 innings. If he can give you 6 innings and give up 3 or 4 runs, with our offense, that should be enough, especially if Dugas can get back healthy. And hopefully we'll have Brady Neal back soon, even though Milazzo has been solid. But,
Milazzo has been he's been solid.
He's definitely improved, and that's like what you want to see in a coaching staff and in a player is improvement. It's much improved, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, he could go toe-to-toe, and knowing you have a guy like that, if like in this case, Brady Neal kind of goes down for a little while, or even needs some rest, say in a doubleheader or the third game of a series that we've already won, you have a capable guy, and that he, like, his batting average is leaps and bounds better than it has been in the previous seasons. Like, I know he doesn't have the number of at-bats that
he has a good amount of at-bats. I mean, a lot of people think that he doesn't really have many at-bats.
I'm just saying,
he's played in pretty much every and he's played in a lot of weekday games, which some people are like, oh, it's not SEC pitching, whatever. He's been solid. He can only do and hit as well as in many at bats than he has. So he has been solid, and you really hope to get Dugas and Neal back just because the talent, and it seems like we haven't had an update on Brady Neal really. He just says nothing on him, or that's the tweet we get.
Jay's very cryptic
from our guy Grant or Leah. there's no update on Brady Neal or Chase Edwards or Chase Shores or Garrett Edwards,
Yeah.
that's concerning. I guess we'll talk about those three guys. We talked about Neal, but Edwards and Shores, the pitching staff besides Skeens is average, statistically very average. And, if they're walking guys, then we're in big trouble. We're trying to find, some reliable relief pitching, and Bryce Collins, who we'll talk about in a minute, has stepped up. But
yeah, he did very well this past weekend.
We're going to have to find some guys there, because losing Garrett Edwards and Chase Shores, if it's for the rest of the season, that's a huge loss. I mean, that can't really be understated.
Well, the pitcher that started on Tuesday night, maybe he'll be able to bring a spark to this pitching staff. I want to go back to game one real quick. I feel like this stat is pretty compelling. They actually put this on the screen during the broadcast, but Skeen's whiff percentage, did you see that? 66%.
Yep.
Like whenever a batter swings, it just completely misses. And the average is 33%.
Yeah.
So that's quite a telling stat. But yeah, Herring came in kind of more of the same, got hit around. He gave up 7 runs, 3 of them earned, only had 1 strikeout and 1 walk in 1 2/3 innings. Then Blake Money came in and closed it out, gave up 1 run on 2 hits. But it was tough.
Jay has really tried Money in a lot of different spots this year.
Yeah.
He started a midweek. He's pitched mid-relief. He's pitched in the closing spot. Hasn't really seemed to find a role yet, but having that lead, I think that Jay felt comfortable putting him out there.
You know what sucks about this game? Giving up a 6-2 lead, right? Yeah. And I think the talk of this game has been Joe Bear's, error in the outfield.
That wasn't an error, yeah.
Yeah. But obviously you can't put it all in one play, blah, blah. That's the basic thing you say whenever somebody makes a pretty bad error. But giving up in the fourth, we're up 6-2, and then you give up a 5 spot in the top of the 5th to Kentucky, and that just takes the wind out of your sails. I feel like whenever you're up and the team comes back, it's like they're coming for you, and you've been laid back the whole time, and then you have to scramble to drum together some more runs.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess we can go ahead and talk about the fielding. It's obviously taken a drastic downturn. It's been bad. There's no other way to put it. We dropped more pop flies in the midweek game.
We had 3 errors in that game.
What in that
in the Friday
but
game.
Not all of them were even counted as errors.
Well, right.
Yeah. I mean, the Joe Bear thing. The Joe Bear is not an error on the scoreboard.
Yeah,
it's just
up to the discretion.
But
of the scorer.
That kind of thing it can't happen. I think that's probably a reason that Pearson it started the opening weekend in SEC play. They like Joe Bear's bat better, but we've got to clean it up. It's been really a little bit of everyone making errors too. It hasn't been Jordan Thompson on his own, or he's made a couple errors, but he's playing shortstop. He's going to get a lot of balls. That's going to happen. It's more the simple.
More
things.
Than last year, it's less than last year.
It's a lot less than last year. Yeah. It's dramatically improved, and those are the errors that maybe are going to happen in baseball games. But we got to catch balls and do the simple things right.
I think you could flip that light on. I feel like it's very dark in here.
It has gotten dark.
I feel like we're just down. Yeah, the sun's finding its home in the western sky, and we're like recording with a night light. All right, so yeah, LSU loses by a score of 13-10. It was I said it was lopsided, but it didn't feel like, maybe whenever it was 6-2, it felt like we were going to win. But then when they come back 7-6, it was just like, I don't have a good feeling about this. And then I think probably the game of the weekend, statistically, was Saturday. LSU ends up winning by a score of 7-6. That was a late 8th inning run scored on a walk. A walk. White got hit by a pitch. All the runners moved around, and Joe Bear scored. Starting, we kind of threw a Johnny Holstaff on your mics off. on Saturday. Christian Little started, went 3 1/3.
He was really good through the first 3 innings. Yeah.
Yep. Only had one strikeout, only gave up one run. It was earned. Gavin Guidry came in, did okay, gave up 2 runs. We only saw Riley Cooper for a third of an inning. Thatcher Hurd got a little bit of experience in there. More of the same from him. It's very frustrating what he's going through, and I feel like we'll kind of talk about that more. When we talk about the midweek game that he came in after Javen Coleman pitched the first inning, and then Bryce Collins came in and gutted it out. Had 4 strikeouts in 2 1/3. Only had 1 walk and only gave up 1 hit. Bryce Collins, I think, is your MVP, I guess.
Of the weekend.
If you just had to pick one, like he saved the series basically by coming in and giving us some strong relief innings. It was we were down. We were down heading into the bottom of the 7th inning.
Back and forth and back and forth.
It was crazy. It was just kind of a duel. We're down.
It was a stressful game to watch, John. I watched it. You said you were at a wedding.
I was.
It was a stressful game to watch.
As I look at the box score, it's like there was just 1 run scored by either team in every inning.
Yeah, multiple times where you felt like you should have definitely gotten more runs, and then there was times where you're like, well, I wish Dugas was hitting right now,
Right.
And maybe Kling was hitting certain people that you wish were out there that are injured. And it was nerve-wracking. Whoever you put in, it really, I think I tweeted this at the time, it felt like last year's team where whoever was in the game, you were just like, please throw a strike. I think we had 8 walks. Please throw a strike. That's the only way we can,
we did have 8 walks.
Get out of this inning, is if we can put the ball in play, and defense wasn't great again. And it was stressful. You knew when they would get a walk on base. I think they scored on over 50% of their leadoff runners getting on this weekend, and that's what Kentucky does. They get on, they steal second, and they even stole third, and then they bunt them over, and then they make contact and get the guy in. So that's how they kept getting their runs.
Right.
Leadoff walk is just a killer in college baseball. But yeah, I mean, it was a struggle. Like you said, Collins coming in, gutting it out, big performance. We really we need that win. I mean, it's just right now with the pitching staff the way it is, and Little actually looked good until again he started throwing balls. But with the way it is, you're gonna have to gut out every win, and all these wins are gonna be important. We've missed a game already in SEC play, and we got to go on the road in a tough environment. And last year, Ole Miss wasn't any good, and they swept us here in the box. So, gotta bring it.
Yeah, and I think what they were saying also. I mean, if you look at our record in the SEC after this game, we were 9-5. If we would have lost that game, we'd have been 8-6, and that's kind of what Chris Blair and Doug Thompson were talking about. Like that difference just seems so large. And
and Arkansas feels like the number 1 team in the country right now, for being honest. They're pretty much pounding everyone right now. I think they've lost 2 SEC games, both us, or 3, maybe 2, maybe just us. But they are rolling right now. The staff does not feel complete or consistent enough for us to be ranked the number 1 team in the country. But it is good that we are ranked number 1. I'm not complaining because RPI and national seed is important in baseball. Unlike football, halfway through the season, if you just take care of business, you'll probably be in the right spot to make the playoff. But it's important to be ranked there.
Yeah, just going back to what I was saying, it's like gutsy win. This team come together through the adversity. Dugas going down. I mean, that is just such a major blow, even if it's just for the weekend.
I think Jay said it was maybe the best win of the year. Did he say best win?
Yeah.
And his press conference after. It was an
down.
important win, and it was back and forth and back and forth. We gutted it out. Teams seem to be, it's not, they're not quitting. They're not laying down.
To have made it through this gauntlet of a schedule thus far, and knowing that there's better, for lack of a better word, easier series to come.
Yeah.
It really does make you feel good, because all those other teams, all those other tough teams that we beat in a series, we split them with South Carolina. We beat A&M. We beat Arkansas. We beat Kentucky. Now they all got to go on the road and play each other.
Yeah,
like these tough teams,
And John, before we get out of this, we have to talk about Jared Bear Jones.
Yes,
the home run.
Yes, I love that.
So I was watching the game and I could tell he was frustrated. The first pitch was really quick; it didn't look ready. And then the second pitch came right after, and he was looking back at the ump, kind of like, "Hold on, can you let me get in the box? Like, there's plenty of time on the pitch clock." And he was ready to hit one out. You could see it in his eyes. He was mad, and he obliterated that ball and had a couple nice words for the pitcher. Got to be careful with that now. The Florida pitcher.
Yes.
And I'm talking about this because this is important to us and everyone.
I'm glad you brought it up.
Skeens has stuff fire in him, right?
Yep.
The Florida pitcher, he was kicked out of the game, right?
Yes.
How many games did he get suspended?
I'm not sure.
He got suspended 4 games today.
Wow.
4 games. I think it's let's see. I'll pull up the exact ruling, but isn't that crazy? Like, you got to be careful now because, you don't want to. I mean, I guess if it's Skeens or somebody, he misses a start, but you don't want to miss a start.
No. I mean, that is especially if teams are, throwing game one.
And if you're a reliever, an important reliever who's going to pitch twice in a weekend,
yeah.
I mean that's
now. We do have to give bad credit where it's due. That ump shouldn't be an ump anymore after that. I mean, that is ridiculous to throw a college athlete out for that.
And we're not Florida fans, so this is coming from
I know
the very unbiased take.
This is just being a baseball fan.
Yeah, being a fan in general. It's like when the ump or the referee or whatever tries to make the game about themselves instead of the player, that's really when they're out of line. They're going to make some bad calls. But if they're trying to make the game about themselves, maybe eject a player in basketball and they shouldn't be ejected. They slam the ball down or something like that.
Or put 4 fouls on the best team, the best player in the women's basketball season in the national championship game.
Yep.
I'm arguing not against LSU on that, but I'm arguing for the other team. That's how frustrating it is whenever a ref meddles in a game like that. The refs, you shouldn't even know they're there.
So it was their closer, Brandon Neely. He won't be with the team all weekend. I don't even know if he can. He has a 4-game suspension due to NCAA rules. I was looking to see if it was an NCAA or an SEC thing. 4-game suspension. That's a lot.
They don't have an appeal process. Maybe they do.
But it probably doesn't get over well. I wouldn't guess, but maybe they do. It'd have to be appealed fast.
That ump
should play tomorrow.
I think Jacob Hesser mentions this all the time on Off the Bench, but he said that the refs should be part of the press conference too at the end, and they need to be able to sit up there and explain their calls because their call affected the game.
Yeah, you know what? And the ejection was ridiculous, but doesn't the 4-game suspension seem way more?
That's why I think they need to have an appeals process. Yeah. But that's just if a player gets kicked out, then you got to it's automatic. Yeah. It seems automatic. I don't think any reasonable person. I mean, the NCAA is kind of not very reasonable, but yeah, I agree with that. Not advocating for Florida at all. That's just a statement on baseball.
They're playing
wasn't
Georgia,
looking at the name on there.
Florida's good though. They're really good.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, looking at the videos, what Jared Jones did was way worse than what the Florida guy did.
I think part of it's they don't want you to show someone up. Jared Jones kind of was still looking and running while he did that.
Yeah.
To some degree, if he stopped completely, I think that he would have gotten kicked out of the game. He kind of kept moving.
It's like the Jordan brother. He was running while he flipped the pitcher.
You can't really stop moving. Don't stop. So let's not get kicked out. I don't want Jared Jones in a 4-game suspension. He is an animal. I mean, he is such a big freshman.
Oh, it's insane. I think they mentioned also on the broadcast that he's gunning for freshman of the year. Nationally.
If something's thrown up in the zone and he sees it well, it's gone. I mean, he's hitting it so hard. And those little pull hooks he hits the left field when he misses by a half second, or not even half second,
kill somebody,
split second.
Sitting in the bleachers.
You got to be careful over there.
Seriously.
If you're sitting over there on the left side, be careful when Jared Jones is hitting.
I love thinking about the fact that he's going to be with us for 2 more years. That's the greatest thing.
Yep.
But yeah, that rule with that they enacted in the Florida game. It's trash. It's absolute trash.
Yeah, you know what else is trash, Sean?
What?
Well, if you need someone to take out your trash, you call Workbox. If you need a porta potty, you need a storage container, you need a luxury restroom rental. They have these big old luxury restroom trailers. If you're having a big party, having people over, some kind of event, you have to call Martine at Workbox. If you need a porta potty, storage container, roll off dumpster, call Martine at Workbox. It's 225-343-4886. If you need a storage container, if you need the cleanest porta potties in the business, call Martine. It's 225-343-4886. Workbox.
What'd you say?
Workbox.
Oh, I didn't know what you said. LSU lost last night, Tuesday, to our friends up the road, the ULL, the University of Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajuns. Not the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. I don't know where that came from or who thought of that, but they beat us. Like we said, it was the CJ Willis revenge game. He had some good hits and good plays at second. He actually had a really good play at second. A liner got hit up the middle and he was able to get the guy out at first. But all that to say, Javen Coleman back on the mound, 1 inning, came in, did well.
Yeah, he looked good.
2 strikeouts.
That's probably more important than the actual outcome of the game.
It's very important.
You don't like to lose those games for what reason? Not really because they're detrimental to the season or our ranking or the standings. Not even a confidence thing. I think you just don't want to lose because the other in-state team is going to take that to their grave.
When we beat y'all, it's like, oh yeah, well we won the Natty. So.
Yeah. So that's one of those things. They're going to get online and tweet and all that.
I'm fine with that.
Whatever. That's really why you don't want to lose those games. But it is, there still is some cause for concern with pitching. Again, Money struggled.
Well, Hurd came in after
Hurd
Coleman,
struggled,
and I think it's all in his head. I think he's just he's to a point where he's just scared of letting his natural abilities take over.
Yeah,
I mean that play, the pickoff play when he threw the ball to where Jordan Thompson was supposed to be standing at short.
Yeah.
And it went into the outfield and advanced the runners. I mean, that's all mental. That has nothing to do with talent. But I mean, he only threw a third of an inning. It felt like longer than that.
Sammy Dutton pitched towards the end of the game.
Yep.
He hung in there, did pretty well.
Riley Cooper.
He was very unlucky.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He pitched 3 1/3, and there was, I think, 2 fly balls in a row where Morgan and Cruz just lost it in the lights or the
I don't know how they lost those balls. Yeah,
I've never seen it happen back to back like that.
We had some struggles in the field last night. Money has gotten screwed. I mean, not Money. Cooper has gotten screwed over multiple times this year by the defense. Just kind of on some unfortunate situations. He's a contact. He's pitching to contact, in my opinion. I don't know if he's supposed to, but that's whenever he's doing well. It seems like ground out, pop up, two balls, and it's a ground up pop up. Yeah. That is whenever he's most effective, and we didn't help him out at all.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's not in there throwing 97 miles an hour, trying to strike you out and make you whiff on a nasty curve. He's just in there to put the ball in play and eat up innings. LSU got out to an early lead. Got to shout out our boy Cade Beloso with the stand-up triple.
Yeah. Yes.
He was hauling ass around second base to get to third, and it ended up obviously being a bad throw. I thought it was a home run at first. It hit the kind of the top of the wall and bounced off, but stand-up triple for our boy.
Yeah, Cade's been really good. He's been
got
really
wheels,
good,
man.
We've hyped him up a lot, but he's been really solid for us. Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, my other note would be that Lynn Rollins is
he's been on fire.
Still the man. So I think it was the catcher it was one of the captains for the Raging Cajuns, and he was originally scratched from the game because he had food poisoning. Did you hear this? And he
I
said
may have missed it. I missed like the first couple innings.
he told Ronnie Rance, so the catcher or whatever the guy came in and to pinch hit, and he said, "Yeah, so and so was out earlier today with the collie wobbles." I was like,
I saw. Was it you that tweeted that?
yes,
I saw you tweeted that, but I missed. I think the first inning and a half.
the collie wobbles. What in the earth is a collie wobble?
I do not know, John.
He is an.
I don't want to know though. I don't want to know what whenever he's saying something. I don't want to get it. It makes it better.
Dude, and he also at the beginning of the game, you definitely missed this. He said right before the game, he goes, "The sky is the color of a cornflower right now," and we're like, "What?
What is that?"
We're like, what? I love this guy. Shout out Cal. He reminded me of that one. I remember hearing that and being like, "Oh, that's kind of an odd way to describe what the sky looks like right now." But
He goes off in the midweek games.
oh, he told a story about how Abe Lincoln was in the Hall of Fame for wrestling.
He gets
he's a
midweek games. Midweek game Lynn is different.
Dude, I wish he was on every game, like every single game. I wish him and Ben McDonald.
Yeah, he is.
No,
awesome.
I mean, I bought the MLB package and I put on an Orioles game the other day. Had a little money on it.
Okay.
McDonald calls all the Orioles game. I lost, so there's nothing there. I'm a loser. No, yeah. So he was on fire. Shake it off. LSU lost 8-5. Whatever. In-state school. The big focus is going to win 2 out of 3. Preferably, just go ahead and win 3 out at Ole Miss this weekend. Before we get to talking about a little bit of Ole Miss, I want to give a shout out to DraftKings. Enter promo code BOOT. Bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. It's promo code BOOT. 21 plus. Restrictions apply. See show notes for details. All right.
Ole Miss is getting back Hunter Elliott this weekend. He was their guy last year. Hasn't pitched since February 17th. So how much they'll use him or what role he'll be in, I don't think we know. But it sounds like he is going to pitch, which is huge for them. Huge just confidence boost. They just got beat in heartbreaking fashion at Mississippi State. They got walked up after coming back to take the lead in the 9th. They walked a bunch of guys, and they got walked off and then beat again in the rubber match. So they pretty much need to, probably sweep us or beat us 2-1 to have any chance to go into the postseason. And it's a huge weekend for them.
So they're 21-16 overall.
Yeah, they've won
3-12
3
in the
SEC
conference.
games. Yeah,
3-12 in the conference. So I'm honestly I'm saying sweep or bust on this one. We haven't swept an SEC series this year. I think as far as obviously with the number 1 team, whatever. But I'm thinking confidence boost heading in. I think sweep or bust.
Look, and I think that John, you've called a lot of sweeps this year.
I'm serious about this.
I have not called as many sweeps. I did say a midweek loss was coming, John.
Yeah, whatever.
You
did.
I did say that.
You did.
It happens. Tennessee lost. Who else lost?
Tennessee, they're fake.
No, but like 3 or 4 SEC teams lost the midweek games. It happens at this time of year, injuries and pitching and stuff. But yeah, I think that they're a team that does not pitch it as well as they did last year. And they still got some talented guys at the plate, so they can beat you. They swept us last year. We need some revenge. I'm with you this week, John.
Yeah. It does. It is kind of the first time in a while that we don't have the Bianco battle between he and his dad. Where is he playing now? Houston?
Correct.
He made a fantastic play. I think it was like Sports Center top 10.
He did that twice.
Flew over the wall.
He did that twice. He flipped over that same wall twice.
Yeah. You know what the weather's supposed to be like in Oxford this weekend?
It is going to be raining one of the days.
I don't know.
It's going to rain one day. But we're going to get in all the games. Oh.
No, I think there's some weather moving in Saturday.
Yeah. I don't know how far that line will drag up through.
Is it a squall line?
Yeah.
God, I love all the meteorologist terms.
You know the line exactly what it's going to look like in that direction. It's going
Oh,
to
it's
be
the same
moving.
exact
It's the same
thing every
line
time.
Every time.
So yeah, heading up to Ole Miss to face Bianco. They are the defending champs, and that's what Jay Johnson says every time he's asked about it. He's like, "We're going up to play the defending champs this weekend."
Yeah.
So
This is a baseball team that can still hit the ball. They just really haven't pitched it well. A team that could get hot, and we kind of said this last year, and then we got swept. So as far as this is a team that struggled, but has talent and has pitching. Guys just haven't performed that well, so they're capable of beating us. It'll be an important
sweep or bust. Ring it up. You can ring it up right here. You can do the pre-check. You can do the TSA pre-check on a sweep for LSU this weekend. I've never been more confident about anything in my life. I'm just kidding. All right. Before I talk about the house bar, I'm going to preview the next little segment. LSU basketball been making a few moves on some transfers that are coming our way. You been keeping up with that, Luffy?
Yeah, hoping we would get that Syracuse kid, the shooter. He took a visit, hasn't committed. I feel like that's in the transfer portal days, John. I feel like that's kind of a sign. Like usually you get visit and commitment kind of close because the window's open for, I believe it's open from the 15th to the 30th for football or for basketball. So I think that I think that's the window. So usually you get visit commitment. That's what's happened with the other guys. We got Jalen Cook. Which did we talk about Jalen Cook yet?
We did not.
In a previous.
We did not
Because that's been a couple weeks. He is the transfer guard who was originally at LSU from Zachary, right outside of Baton Rouge somewhere. Where's he from? Is it Zachary?
I thought it was from he's from Baton Rouge, but
yeah, Baton Rouge area.
Zachary's like Baton Rouge North.
Yeah, so pretty much Baton Rouge. Coming back home, good score, smaller guy, and then we got the big, He's 7 foot, right?
That dude is he's massive.
John, pull up his name.
He went to Walker. He went to Walker.
Walker, sorry.
Walker's a little bit outside of Baton Rouge. But
so we got look up the big white guy's name.
Okay.
And then we got Carlos Stewart from Santa Clara, who scored. He was really, efficient. He scored 15 points a game. And I think that's something that we need. There was a lot of big schools after Carlos Stewart. I think that Mississippi State, Alabama, who both made the tournament, John, were both schools that he had offers from, along with like UCLA and some other, pretty big time, I think, programs. Maybe not UCLA, but it was somebody else big. Anyway, he's definitely, a solid fit. Again, he's coming back home. And then John, if he ever finds the name of the other guy.
Is it Will Baker?
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
That's it. And he had good performances against Gonzaga and some of the other big teams they played. Will Baker did.
He's got an NIL valuation of $14,500. It's crazy whenever you hear that in terms of, in reference to like what Olivia Dunn's getting or whatever.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, LSU gymnastics came in fourth at the national championship. So I actually talked to a guy that I work with that went, and he said, I believe Oklahoma won it. And he said Oklahoma definitely deserved to win. He said they were badass.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I think it was a good run considering the injuries we had this year.
Yes.
Successful season.
Yes. All right. I think
shout out Gym Girls. If anybody, John. If anybody, yep.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Out the Box podcast. Episode 150 next week, Luffy. Did you know that? 150 episodes down. You know how much time that is? How have you kept up with it? How have you kept up with me and my ad reads and my jokes and my voice cracks and all that? It's crazy.
It's a lot. That's like, I'll do it in days.
150 hours.
That's like probably like No, that's more.
Plus
That's
the 3 or
definitely
4
more
hours, plus the 3 or 4 hours that we take to prep and
It's
then
definitely more
edit
hours.
the show after. So we do
That's
3
probably
hours
like
before, 3 hours
15
after.
days of podcasting.
What?
Yeah, dude, I'm thinking your hours are way low.
Yeah, they're probably low.
Yeah.
I mean, all the blood, sweat, and tears, like the
Yeah.
hours upon hours each week. I'm just kidding. But thank you guys so much for listening. We cannot thank y'all enough. We are having a great time. Looking at doing a tailgate in 2 weeks. Alabama coming home. Make sure to watch the Tigers this weekend as they head to Ole Miss. But I got the beginning stages of a tailgate going for 2 weeks when Alabama comes to town, because who doesn't love beating Alabama at anything? Shout out to the House Bar and Tigerland Workbox LLC. Blaine Loop with Forte Realty. I already said the disclaimer too, so I don't have to do that again. And who was the last one? DraftKings and the Boot Crew Media Network. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will see y'all next week.